Do you think Josh Heupel has the approach that he's just going to say, "Hey, quarterback battle, go go right ahead. I'm just going to watch this play out," or it's a Joe Milton job that needs to be taken away from him?
We were actually talking about this on my own podcast yesterday. It seems to be a perception nationally that like this is somehow Nico Iamaleava's job to lose. And I mean, I guess if you don't pay close attention to Tennessee, I could understand where that comes from, but you get it from like national guys. I mean, Dennis Dodd wrote this garbage in the last couple of weeks where he was like, there are already whispers that Nico isn't worth the $8 million that his NIL deal will be supposedly paying him. And I was like, how can you even say literally anything like that? This kid has only participated in bowl practices, and that was really only to a limited extent. And that's it. I mean, are you in his dorm room talking to who are your sources on
Yeah.
that? And how would you even go about quantifying that? Because if you assume he's eventually going to be the starter, maybe not this year, but the next year, or even this year, if he has a 9-win season, that $8 million is coming back to you. By far, Tennessee makes so much money from basketball or from football and sports in general. I mean, Tennessee is a money printing machine over there. It was so stupid, but there does seem to be this perception of like, oh, Nico's the guy, and Joe Milton, he's got to win that job. I don't think that's the case. Just from my personal opinion, from seeing what I've seen, and then from the media guys that are at Tennessee most days, I haven't heard anybody have that feeling. It's really been like Joe is sort of taking Nico in and trying to teach him, trying to be a mentor. And I think that's amazing. That's best case scenario to me, is have a good year with Joe Milton this year, and then Nico's, next guy up.
Yeah, for any writer or any media person to take that on as a narrative, boy, you got to be careful there. And I think you got to be more responsible than that in regards to, you got to have something of substance to really rely on to start spreading that kind of and pushing that kind of narrative.
There's a lot to unpack as far as that sort of stuff goes.
Yeah.
Putting Tennessee in the title at this point for any national anybody, that's free views. It's free money if you're Dennis Dodd. I mean, or somebody like that. Like Tennessee fans, I mean, I guess from personal experience right here, just in the last hour, I posted a thing on A to Z Sports about this interview that Nick Saban did, where he was complaining about fast-paced offenses yet again. That's one of his favorite things to complain about. And I just wrote a quick thing about it, and the fervor of Tennessee fans to grab onto something and to either, make fun of Nick Saban or make fun of a national writer that says something stupid or something like that. I mean, I don't know if there's a fan base that's better in all of college football, because they're so passionate about everything. If any affront to Tennessee, it doesn't even have to be something that's directed exactly towards Tennessee. Like Florida baseball had a guy this last week that, as he was rounding the bases while playing Miami, this was a heated rivalry. While he was rounding the bases, he flipped off the outfield. And if you've watched college baseball at all last year, Tennessee was number one for almost the entire season. And then there was a famous moment, infamous moment, I guess, with one of Tennessee's best players. He had a great hit that got Tennessee the lead back in a huge game. And as he was rounding the bases, he flipped off the outfield. Now, one of those created tons and tons of outrage from the national media. And I can tell you, it wasn't the one that involved the Florida guy. And so, like, it was what national media didn't say that got Tennessee fans outraged. So it's really, you don't even have to mention us, but we'll come for you no matter what. I don't know. It's become a funny thing ever since 2017, when the coup happened and the riot down on campus to overthrow the hiring of Schiano and all that stuff. I mean, it just has been, you say anything about Tennessee and we'll come for you. And it, hey, that's, I guess, if you're willing to take the beating, like some of those guys are, some of those writers are, I mean, it's a bunch of free clicks for you, I guess.